friends. I'm Karen, and this is the Family Food for Moms podcast. We're talking about inspiration for family cooking and dining. So we're doing a series on amazing ingredients that we love to use in cooking that are so healthy, so good, and have such a rich culinary history. So today we're going to talk about balsamic vinegar and its roots in Italy, how it's made and why it's good for you, and then what you can use it for. Balsamic vinegar is fascinating. It dates back to the Middle Ages, and some records suggest it was produced in the 11th century first in the region of Modena in northern Italy. Many of the balsamic vinegars that I've seen say Modena on them. Then you know they're authentic. The word balsamic comes from the Latin word balsamum, meaning balm or restorative. That's to reflect its qualities as a medicinal and a culinary product. So it's always been used in a medicinal way for healing and to enhance flavor and nutrition in food. So back then, balsamic vinegar was a luxury item used by the very wealthy and sometimes used as a form of medicine. The use of vinegar in ancient civilizations is well known, but it wasn't until balsamic vinegar was developed that this sweet and tangy variety of vinegar was born. So most vinegar is very sour, but the balsamic vinegar has got that sweetness along with the sourness. In the early days, families in Modena, in that area, would make small batches of the balsamic vinegar to use themselves, to give as gifts. But then gradually it became known outside of Italy and is sold as a gourmet product. By the 18th and 19th centuries, balsamic vinegar began to get a lot of attention commercially. Wealthy families in Modena and Reggio Emilia passed down their secret recipes to the next generation, and this created highly valued family heirlooms, and the vinegar became synonymous with the Italian aristocracy. In the 20th century, after World War II, balsamic vinegar gained international fame. It was being promoted more actively in the global market and appearing on restaurant menus and in gourmet stores worldwide. So, authentic balsamic vinegar is primarily made in the Modena region and the Reggio Emilia regions of northern Italy. The city of Modena is the most famous place for traditional balsamic vinegar production. In Modena, balsamic vinegar is made by slowly aging the grape must, which is freshly crushed, in a series of wooden barrels. The aging process takes a long time, many years. I'll talk about that more in a moment. Then in Reggio Emilia, which is just west of Modena, a variety of balsamic vinegar called Aceto Balsamico Tradizionale di Reggio Emilia. This one has production methods very similar to those of Modena, aging the grape in wooden barrels, but it has its own distinct nuances. So each region has a tradition of craftsmanship to make their own particular style of balsamic vinegar. So let's talk about how it's made. What's the process? It's very intricate, it involves several steps and a significant amount of time and care to create the unique flavors that make it so special. So first the grapes are harvested. So balsamic vinegar begins with grape must. So freshly pressed grape juice, including the skins, seeds, and stems, gives us the grape must. The harvest usually happens in the late summer or early fall when the grapes are ripe and sweet. Then the grape must is cooked. So the grapes are harvested and crushed to extract that must, and it's cooked over a low flame in large copper kettles to reduce the volume of juice to about half. And this concentrates the sugars and the flavors and caramelizes that sugar, adding a deep, rich flavor to the vinegar. So it's not fermented at this point, it's just cooked down and concentrated into a syrup-like substance. So then the fermentation happens after the must has been reduced. It's allowed to ferment and the sugars are turned into alcohol. So this takes place in wooden barrels or other fermentation vessels where wild yeasts naturally present in the environment, like with sourdough, to help with the fermentation. Once the fermentation process is complete, the vinegar must age. So the aged vinegar is transferred to wooden barrels, each made from a different type of wood. Some are oak, chestnut, cherry, and each type of wood imparts a different flavor to the vinegar. It's aged for 12 to 25 years, so you can imagine they have to keep it going to keep the production up. As it ages, it concentrates further and the flavor becomes richer, more complex. Often there's a system of barrels used. The first barrel, where the vinegar starts to begin the aging process, then a year or so later, it's transferred to the next larger barrel, and that has vinegar in it from the previous year and helps to develop more complex flavors. And then each year, some of the vinegar is transferred to the next larger barrel, while a portion is bottled as the finished product. This complex system also ensures that the vinegar has a consistent flavor and texture over the years, even though the process spans decades. It's kind of mixed and mixed as it ages. Then it's bottled. For traditional balsamic vinegar, it's bottled in special distinctive bottles that mark its authenticity. And they come with a certification label, etc. So traditional balsamic vinegar has a very complex flavor which has a balance of sweetness, tanginess, and a richness that develops as it ages. It also tends to be thicker due to the concentration that occurs during the aging process. And its color ranges from deep brown to almost black. As it ages, the color deepens. It has a complex aroma, notes of wood, fruit, spice, depending on the exact aging process and wood used. So why is it so good to use in cooking or eating cuisine? Why is it also so good for us? Let's see. Many health benefits are offered by balsamic vinegar. In moderation, of course. We shouldn't drink it. Balsamic vinegar is very high in antioxidants, as are grapes, grape juice, wine, etc. This helps to get rid of free radicals in our bodies and are a good anti-aging compound. They protect our cells, our skin, and protect against heart disease, etc. So balsamic vinegar contains resveratrol, just like grapes. It's a polyphenol that is very good for heart health. If you take something like resveratrol after having COVID, it's very good for you. Grape juice is always recommended if somebody has a stomach bug. So balsamic vinegar contains these polyphenols. It's good in aiding digestion. The acetic acid promotes digestion, increases the acidity in the stomach to help break down food more effectively. And it also helps balance the pH of the digestive tract, promotes healthy gut bacteria. So it's very good to add a drop or two to your salad, dip your bread in it, add it to whatever you're eating, and that helps with digestion. It's low in calories. It helps to regulate blood sugar, as does any vinegar. Helps to improve insulin sensitivity. Helps if you have type 2 diabetes, etc., preventing spikes in blood sugar after your meals. It boosts your immune system, antibacterial properties, and because of the acetic acid content, so it supports your immune system. And it also reduces inflammation in your body. It's very rich in minerals like calcium, iron, potassium, magnesium, which are all good for general body health, bone health, nerve health, etc. So it's best to consume it in moderation and in as many small ways as you can, and to avoid the mass-produced ones. A lot of the glazes contain added sugars, preservatives, and artificial flavors. So that's not what we're looking for. We want the authentic balsamic vinegar. So what can we use it for and in? What does it taste best in and how? So as I said a moment ago, it's better to use the original balsamic vinegar, not a glaze. You can make your own glaze by cooking it down a bit. But most glazes will contain ingredients that are not healthy and that you don't want in there and that are not going to give you the same benefits like lowering your blood sugar, etc. And one of the best ways to use it, I think, is in bread dipping. It's delicious. Instead of butter, you just put a bit of olive oil and balsamic in the middle, and then you dip your bread in it. So good. Good for a family meal between courses or at the beginning, just for that touch of elegance. Then salad dressings. It's amazing in salad dressings with just the basic olive oil and balsamic, and then you can add a few other things, some mustard, salt, pepper, honey, maple syrup for sweetness, etc. So you whisk them together and you shake them in a jar, or you shake them in a jar and then have it on your salad. Marinades. It works great for meats, chicken or other meat, vegetables. So the acidity helps to tenderize the protein while you marinate it. And it adds a rich, tangy flavor. You can combine some balsamic vinegar with olive oil, a bit of garlic, fresh herbs like rosemary, thyme, and then a little honey or brown sugar to make your marinade. And then you whisk it up, toss your vegetables in it, or marinate the meat for 30 minutes to a few hours in the marinade. The vegetables, as you toss it, you can then bake it or grill it in that, and it makes a delicious vegetable. Then glazes and sauces. So the glaze is a reduction of balsamic vinegar that thickens and sweetens as it cooks down. It's amazing for drizzling over your cooked vegetables and meats. To make the glaze, you just simmer it in a saucepan over medium heat until it reduces by half and thickens to a syrupy consistency. If you like, you could add a bit of honey or maple syrup for extra sweetness. Surprisingly, you can also add balsamic vinegar to fruit, berries, or stone fruits. You drizzle a small amount over the fresh strawberries or blueberries, or you could do that with the glaze, which is thicker and sweeter. The glaze is always great for decoration. If you're making a fancy salad or a caprese salad, or even over your fruit desserts, if you drizzle a little bit of the glaze, you can do nice zigzags and it looks great. Or drizzle it on the plate before adding the mashed potato and meat, etc. Also good on pizza, interestingly. I remember one time when I was sick and I was craving one thing only, and that was pizza with balsamic glaze, avocado, and some sort of greens on it. It was really good. Caprese pizza, which is mozzarella, tomatoes, and basil, and then some balsamic vinegar or glaze, and any kind of vegetable or chicken pizza is great on that. Even in soups and stews, it adds a layer of richness and flavor. Just putting a splash into that before you start, and then thickens as the stew cooks. You can also add a little bit towards the end of cooking to bring depth to the dish. With cheese, it's a natural companion, especially aged cheeses like Parmigiano Reggiano, mozzarella, goat's cheese. Just drizzle a few drops over your slices of cheese or on a cheese platter, or have it on the table for people to use as they'd like to. Grilled meats like steak or lamb can be finished with a drizzle of balsamic vinegar. And when you're making a sandwich or a wrap with deli meat, cheese, add an extra zing with a drizzle of balsamic vinegar inside the sandwich. So balsamic vinegar is versatile, it's rich in flavor, and it's high in nutrients. And it helps our bodies in lots of ways. The acidity can be sharp, so it does pair well with things like olive oil and honey and mustard. And it's tangy and strong, so start with a little bit to adjust your taste buds if you're not used to it. But using quality balsamic vinegar can add so much richness to your dressings, your glazes, your meats, your vegetables, whatever meal you're having. My favorite is definitely on salad. I love to have a salad that's got avocado and artichokes and cucumber, tomatoes, or a caprese salad with mozzarella and basil. And then it's got to have that balsamic vinegar on to give it its true amazing flavor. So I hope that you're inspired to use a bit more of balsamic vinegar and even to try making a glaze. and then to use it in more of your cooking. Next time we'll talk about another amazing ingredient to include in your cooking. Thanks so much for listening.